Hey guys, Sarah here. So today for video number 2, I'm going to be talking about what to do when you're feeling burdened, when you're going through struggles, what do you do to make it better, and why you do it. So to start off, the first thing we should do is go to God, right? So I'm going to start off with a verse from Matthew 11:28. And Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." So the Bible right here is telling us, step 1, what do we do when we are weary and burdened by numerous things, including anxiety, stress, fear. When we are feeling that burden, that weight on our shoulders, first and foremost, go to God. Go to God. God has this open communication with us. 1 Peter 5:7, it says, "Cast your anxieties on him because he cares for you." So even there, we're being pointed to sharing our struggles and our burdens with God. He wants to hear our struggles. He wants to know that we desire his help. That faith is what is required of us when we do go to him in prayer. We can't just go to him in prayer and say, blah, 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 like I'm supposed to be praying right now, so I'm gonna do it. Maybe it'll help, I don't know. No, like you enter prayer saying, like, God will take care of me. So go to him with those struggles that you are facing first and foremost. Secondly, we're supposed to carry each other's burdens, right? And that's representative of what Christ did for us. So that's in Galatians 6:2. It says, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." So what we need to do to help overcome those burdens, that weight of the world that we feel when things aren't going right, when we are stressed out, when we are sad or upset or worried, we need to go to one another. That's why the church is so important, and having face-to-face interaction is so important, because we need to have open dialogue about the way we're feeling, and we need to carry each other's burdens. You know, you don't need to go through anything alone, nothing alone. I'm sure you have friends and family, who will help take on that burden. If not, there's a church and church members who would love to help you help ease that burden by carrying it with you, by helping to encourage you. And then there are also support groups out there who will do that as well. So it's something God calls us to do as the church. We need to love others, and a way to love others is to help carry each other's burdens. And this all comes down, again, to loving your neighbor as yourself. So that's how you deal with burdens, right? Why you deal with them that way is scientifically proven, right? I mean, maybe not the first part per se. Science doesn't say go to God, but science does prove that we need to share our struggles. Suppressing negative emotions can quite literally kill you. Based on a study done from Harvard and the University of Rochester, they found that suppressing those negative emotions can increase your risk of heart disease and certain cancers. So that's on top of the negative mental health effects that can happen from suppressing your emotions and from hiding your feelings. Experts suggest it's important for us to acknowledge our negative emotions, especially, to help with our mental health. So that's kind of crazy. Here it is, something that's been around for ages, right? And with no science to back it up yet at that point, telling you what would be good for you. And that's to go to God and to go to your brothers and sisters in Christ, to go see and talk and express your emotions in a healthy way. That was there in the Bible, right? So this is why it's important. And I noticed this too in some of my research, that problems also arise when people think they must be upbeat and joyful all the time. That's pretty crazy, right? Because I think a lot of Christians think that they need to be upbeat and joyful all the time. That's wonderful to show people the joy that you've received from being a child of God. but at the same time, you're not perfect. Yeah, you're a human being still, so you're gonna struggle. We're all going to struggle. So it's super important for us to not think that we have it all together all the time, like we know we don't, right? So we need to share that with others, and we need to be sad sometimes. We need to let our emotions come out. Because we're not always okay. We're not always joyful. I know. I wish I was, and I'm not, and that would be great. But if you're anything like me, you're gonna get sad, and it's super important that you don't bottle that up. You've got to share it. You know, if your problems stop there after prayer and he just solves them all via prayer, that is awesome, because I know he can do it. I know it's happened. But it's important for us to have a conversation on top of that and to carry one another's burdens as well. Maybe don't stop at prayer. Maybe move on and talk to others as well, and have a support system there for you too. Psalms is a great example of not always being a joyful Christian, right? We know the psalmists believed in God, right? We know they were God-fearing people, but they weren't always happy people, okay? Yeah, a lot of the psalms start off a little negative, like for real, and they kind of end up, a lot of them end up on a more joyful note. God's seen them through their struggles and provided for them when things got really bad. And I think that's what's cool, is like you can complain, things can totally stink and be awful, but then at the same time, you're not losing faith because of the way you feel. On the contrary, God sees you through those struggles, and I think it makes you even stronger. Yeah. You as a Christian, you don't have to be joyful or perfect all the time, and you're human, so go to God and then go to others with your burdens and let them off your shoulders. So I'm going to end this on the note that I like to end it on, which is to go out and to love others today. And I mean, do something crazy cool. Go take your next door neighbor some cookies, or leave a note for a neighbor you haven't met down the road, invite them over. Compliment anybody, anyone, everyone. But go out and be the hands and feet of Christ today, because we are called to love others. So let's do it and do it well. Alright guys, see y'all next week. Bye!